Well, I've been making pots for about 37 years. I first took a pottery class when I was in college as a biology major, and then through a turn of events I became an art teacher and had a little pottery on the side. But professionally, we're just entering our 25th year. Botanical styles have been our niche, and maybe that's key to my biology background that I had in school with a lot of botany credits. They're basically created from plant forms that we find around this area that we live in. You know, our huckleberry line, our Indian summer line we developed to capture the deep blue autumn skies, leaves turning colors, the sun-baked earth.
Just being outside inspires me, and then passing a pot to a customer that is in awe of it, and making something that they're going to take home and they're going to remember meeting us or being in Montana.
Well, the Northwoods Feastware is the line that my dad created originally, probably 20 some years ago. And as I've started working in the business, I've started doing that line and taking it into the teapots, and we both have just a different feel for our-ness to nature, which is where a lot of our inspiration is drawn from nature, from the woods really right around the house.
And we use no commercial glazes. Everything is made by us.
We fire in a reducing atmosphere in our kiln, which is difficult to do, but allows us to come up with some colors that we're noted for.
For myself, I'm more drawn to the roots. And you know, I see the roots of everything. It's trees in the woods. I'm looking at how they attach to the ground. I guess just perfecting an idea is the best part of it, because the idea comes in your head and then you have the opportunity to bring it to fruition as to something you can actually touch, and that's probably the most rewarding.
The creative process for me begins when I get a bare pot. I'll roll out clay, slabs of clay, and I'll take whatever leaves I can find that will fit on that pot and that's where the creativity comes in for me, is embellishing the pottery, using the colors to flow down through the leaves.
My parents have built this business as a wholesale first business, to where most of the pots that we made are ordered, they're specific, they're going somewhere, and they're not speculative. So the work is being done to get paid for. And then it's filled in with retail shows where we get our name and our product out there in different places.
I think the craft shows, doing the retail, improves the product because you have a direct contact with your customer.
It's neat at a show when somebody comes up and they don't even, like they don't shop, they don't look, they just grab and they're like, I'll take this.
And then when a customer comes back to a show and says, I bought a mug from you 5 years ago, I drink my tea out of it every morning, and I love it. That's inspirational.
The first few times when I've sold big pieces they're expensive big pieces, it is stunning to me that someone wants to spend their money on it. More humbling than flattering, actually, because I'm just a potter in the woods.
We'll do custom work on our terms, within our abilities and our confines. We occasionally have somebody come up with an idea of something that they want, and I'll look at it and I'll decide whether or not we'll do it. But I do like to do the custom work as well, because it kind of gives you inspiration in a new direction. One of our big customers has always been Glacier National Park, and it's been a cornerstone for our business because so many gallery owners or gift shop owners see our work there and find us through that product, and consequently we sell in probably 20 states. We go through, on the average, from a ton to a ton and a half of clay a month. We actually bought this pottery from another potter in 1989. We were a young couple with young kids, and we felt like we needed a little jump start to take the leap into our own business. I had an airbrush in my shop, and through a turn of events, airbrushed some plant forms on these pots. I had probably 20 of them, and they sold in 5 minutes. And I think that's when the light bulb kind of came on for us. We decided that it was time to take the leap. I really enjoyed teaching and coaching, but I could look down the road and know in 10 years what I would be doing. I kind of realized that maybe teaching was the backup plan that had become the plan. And someone once told me that if you have a backup plan, be careful about having a backup plan, because oftentimes it becomes a plan, and we kind of realized that maybe that was happening.
Our kids have grown up in this studio. They've come out here, they've earned their season passes, they've glazed thousands and thousands of pots. They know how to carve, put leaves on, and even the grandkids. Everybody has ownership in the business.
But we do work a lot. When it's time to work, we work, and that's the part that a person has to be willing to adjust to, is that there's times when we will go 70 or 80 days without taking a day off.
Best piece of advice I could give anyone starting out in any business would be take a bookkeeping class. We're artists. We're not bookkeepers. I'd never had a bookkeeping class, and it's probably the most important thing I do.
I love to encourage people and help them get started. And some advice I've given people in the pottery business that have gone on and developed and built potteries is to find a place to sell your pots, perhaps a farmer's market. That's a good place. And don't be too proud of them at first. You have to get rid of them. You can only expect your friends and family to buy so much of that stuff before they're buried. It's a limited market. And the only way you're going to get better is to continue to work. So you need to sell them at a reasonable price so you can continue to work and get better. Just a person that wants to make the leap and pursue their dreams. So, my advice, of course, would be just go ahead. We didn't want to be wondering. I think we talked about this too. We didn't want to be at some point in our life wondering if we should have done it. So I've always thought that the key to success is just to enjoy working, enjoying being productive, having a good day, getting a lot done.
If someone were to be first starting out and they have a passion for something, I would say work is the number one way to achieve your goals. Work, 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 work.